Welcome to Raquel Speaks. We are here for another episode with one of my network of money makers, movers, and shakers. We have none other than Mr. Felix London.
Pleasure.
Don't pay he no mind.
None at all.
Welcome. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me. And welcome to Raquel Speaks.
Welcome to St. Croix.
Welcome to
DPM
your world, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We're happy to be here. We are live on the road.
Yeah.
And we are chit-chatting with Mr. Felix.
Yeah, she pulled up.
Yes.
On location.
Live and in person.
Yeah, bust the door like, what's up? I'm here. What we doing?
Well, you know what? You have been doing some awesome things in our community. You are an entrepreneur, but I know there's a backstory behind the backstory. So let's tell our listening audience a little bit about you and how you grew up here on St. Croix.
Okay, let's do a quick breakdown. From this island of St. Croix, I am a Crucian, born and raised, left at 17. Grew up on the east side of the island between La Grande Princess and Peter's Rest. Went to private school for elementary and junior high, and then, was getting in a little bit too much trouble. So I had to go to public school for 9th to 12th grade. I joined the military because I didn't want to stay on the island after I graduated. And then I joined the Navy. I stayed there for 7 years. After the Navy, I used my bonus to go to school for music. So they paid for that. Then I started a music career. I got real acquainted and popular within the community. Made a song that a lot of people liked and opened the clothing store.
And there we have it.
That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah. You have a very interesting background. I see the yays with the nays, the positives with the negative, the
Always
hot
positive.
with the cold,
Cup always
the
half
light
full.
with the dark. But you see things from the
Always.
cup half full.
Always half full.
That's
every
it.
time. It's never why me. It's always why not me.
We have that in common.
Yeah,
Yes.
like, why not me?
Why not you?
Yeah.
I love it. And that's why we're here.
Yeah, I can
right?
deal with it. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, you talked about your childhood in private school and being a little rambunctious according to your definition at the time. You were rambunctious, right? Or getting in trouble, as you said.
I still don't feel like I was rambunctious to today.
Of course not. You won't feel that way.
I still don't feel it.
Because it's you.
Yeah, I still
But
don't
you
feel
know what
it.
I think? Being an educator, I know that based on all the creativity that I've seen from this very room that we are in, okay? This business that you have here, I know that it's a creative mind, it's a creative genius behind. And it didn't just start here with this brand that you built.
Nah.
It started with you not thinking you were doing nothing wrong.
Nothing
You were
wrong.
doing something wrong.
I was in art class. Ludacris dropped the album,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a song on there called Hope. And I was in art class. My teacher was Miss Roach. Shout out to Miss Roach if she's still around.
Miss Roach?
And I was singing, "Use a hoe."
I remember that song.
Just, to self.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Why are you so disrespectful and rude?" I'm like, "I'm not. I'm just a song. I'm just,
Mm-hmm.
And then she said, "You can't sing that." So then I was suspended.
Now, do you think you were supposed to be suspended?
No.
Do you
How?
think that you were singing something inappropriate?
When I was humming it, I think that could have get a pass.
Before the humming.
It was just a popular song at the time.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? But
So this is the kid that pushes the envelope. He loves living on the edge.
It was just
But
a
you know
popular
what?
song.
It was just a popular song. Guess what? I know my educators out there know exactly what I'm talking about. These
probably.
are the ones that grow up to be the entrepreneurs, the creators and movers and shakers of our world. Okay? Yeah, your song was inappropriate.
That's a different one.
Yeah,
You still
yeah.
look at it.
But guess what? To be honest, it is individuals like yourself, the mind that you have, and other individuals who think like you, is what helps make life possible for a lot of us. Okay? And I say the negative, the positive, the light, the white, the dark, the brown, the up, the down, because I heard the Navy, and then I heard the music industry. So it's almost like a left brain, right brain
That's
kind of
two
thing.
Completely different worlds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what really motivated you to go into the Navy?
I wanted to leave St. Croix.
Oh, you needed a new environment.
No motivation. I walked up. I said, "Hey, I want to join." easiest recruit in history. She's like, no, you're 17. Your mom has to sign off. And I was like, Ma, sign this paper. I want to leave. You know, not going to UVI. It's
Yes.
not a thing.
Yeah.
Time to go.
And that actually is for parents watching. That is something. So I told my mom that I was not going to finish traditional high school. The same way you told your mom, you know that traditional college was not for you.
Nah.
Yeah. And I say that with very responsibly, because for our youngsters watching this episode, it's not for you to say, oh, so and so did that, or so and so did this. You have to go with your path. And I guarantee you, if you do so responsibly, you will find your way. Because today, Felix is a thriving entrepreneur who is moving and shaking our community. And I myself, I'm a success story all by itself, and moving and shaking our community as well. But it's because we had purpose. He didn't not want to do anything. He wanted to do something, and he knew the path. The same way I knew I wanted to be educated, but I know 4 years of traditional education, I was not going to make it.
Wasn't going to cut it. As a young person, it just didn't really make sense to me to leave from here to go into more schooling for a subject where I may not be interested in for 4 years to pile on that debt. I didn't come from like a wealthy or upper class background. So it's like mentally, even as a teenager, I was already thinking like, so what's going to happen? Is mom going to have to get side jobs or, you know, like to try and pay for like the tuition, because we are well aware of how much school costs. You know, like the thing to do is start putting this money aside as the child is like born. And I don't think that was my situation. That money was getting put aside.
Right, as all of us,
from the time
many of us.
Born. So it just, to me, just didn't make any sense. Like I didn't have like a passion for anything. Like I didn't want to do criminal justice or like.
You were undecided.
Yeah, I didn't have a passion for any direction or lane to go into. But I just wanted to get off of the island. Okay. Honestly.
Yeah, and actually that is a great point you just brought up, because there are a lot of students, a lot of young adults who actually were in the same predicament as you, undecided, not sure of where they want to go, who they are, who they want to be, who they want to become. And they just have to make a decision. Now, sometimes that leads them into their calling, their purpose, where they were meant to be. And other times they discover, you know, it just like, I know this ain't for me, and leads them right into another path. But that's one of the things that I know when I served as commissioner, I was very open to, because of my own pathway. I know that one path is not for all. That's why the world is beautiful, because we're all different people. And I'm a firm believer that we must do what we can from the seats that we sit. And while I served in that capacity, I knew that I had an opportunity to create other pathways once possible or once available. And we did get to do that with one young lady while we were working on my vision of transformation, you know, the plan to transform our system. But one young lady who needed an alternative path, or else she would have had to do 12th grade all over for one class. And this is just one case, you know, we've had several. But her stood out because she had personality, and you know her, and she was just a bright, you know, she had so much ahead of her. But we adjusted the policies because they were outdated. And this young lady was able to go to school at night, didn't have to do a whole year 12th grade for one class, because we created another path. So I say all of that to say that education is a must.
Of course.
We all agree.
Knowledge is power.
Exactly. And not because one doesn't want to go to the traditional route doesn't mean that they're not being educated. And I'm saying this because personally, I believe that our community, our Virgin Islands community, still have the mindset of you have to go to a 4-year college. And that is just not the case.
That's how we program.
That's programming all human beings down the same path, and that would make our world a very dull world. It is bright, beautiful, and colorful because of the variety and variation in which we serve and come. So, yes.
100%, yeah. Because as you gave the examples, that you could pick your path and your calling, or you can fall into it, or you could just have a piece of paper that just looks cool on your wall or in your drawer.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Ongoing education is the key, and you could go to the military.
For sure.
You could go into employment.
Get a trade.
You could go to traditional college. You could get a trade.
Yeah.
There's so many pathways. So, those of you looking on, youngsters, continued education, but you got to go down the path that's right for you. Never stop learning.
Yeah, for sure.
So with a mindset like this now, here you are after you finish with the military. How did we get here?
The military was, I don't want to say this because a lot of people in the military, but I feel like it was just too easy. Like my supervisors, I felt were not like my role models. Like I wasn't like looking up to them. I didn't want to be you in 10 years. You know,
I
like,
get that.
They were more intrigued on what I did this weekend on Monday morning. You want to know what the young, like, you know, I'm already got a couple kids, a wife, the dog. You know, I had to just watch some football and drink some beers on the weekend. Like I want to know what you do. Like what happened this weekend. You know what I mean? So they weren't like role models to me, in a sense. So, and I feel like everything in life is like a game. You just have to figure out how to play it. You know, like you're always on the chessboard. You just have to figure out what move best benefits you to knock down the king in the situation. And I feel like when I was in the military, I figured.
I like that analogy, by the way.
Thank you. When I was in the military, I figured that out very quickly for self. And then after you figure out something so early, it's like, why am I? You know, I used to go to work at 8 in the morning and be back home at 10 every day. I figured out how to do a 3-week job in 1 week. So instead of taking 3 weeks to do it, I would just do 2 hours a day, so I can last out the week, have enough time to just finish it in a week. Yeah. And then it's a 3-week job, so I'm done in a week, and I'm still getting applauded, but I'm only giving 2 hours a day.
Right.
So I can do it in a week.
And I think, is it fair to say that at that point you realize, look, I gotta make my own path?
Yeah, it was too easy for me. Like it wasn't a challenge, and you wasn't paying me enough either. So I would chill if I was making enough.
Correct.
I'm not getting like overly paid. I'm just, you know.
Yeah. So before we get into Don't Pay Me No Mind, you said you ventured in. Well, we all know your song. We should have had the song to play.
I didn't want to hear that song. I didn't want to hear that. That's an old me. I didn't want to hear that.
Okay, cheers to that.
Yeah, that's an old me. I didn't want to hear that.
Okay. So what
New
sparked
2024?
2024, new music.
Yeah.
What sparked your interest in music?
In music, music teach me how to yank.
Really?
Music teach me how to dress. Music probably taught me like my lifestyle, just in general. Like every day I was going home and watching Rhapsody in the Basement, watching MTV. I was glued like every day. Like as I say, it taught me fashion. It taught me like how
the hip thing.
Yeah, like it taught me, because this is my environment. This is where I'm from. This is what I know, and this is what I knew for the most part. But that kind of like, you know, gave me knowledge in a sense towards that. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world that you can say something coded and have people think it means one thing, and you have another underlying.
A double entendre.
It's the coolest thing to me in the world.
Yeah, like figure it out.
Yeah,
like you get it on the way.
And even if you don't figure it out, you hear it and you think it's something completely different.
Yep,
you know?
yep. I like that.
So that was. You know?
So again, hence why he got in trouble. But he ain't in trouble. He ain't in trouble.
I got in trouble.
He got in trouble. That curious mind.
Yeah, so that was the coolest thing to me in the world. So I just wanted to learn how to do it, and I started doing it like with friends. Like I would hear a song that I like, download the beat, and make the record and like send it to my friends. So I never thought being an artist would have been like a thing. It didn't seem like possible when I was growing up.
So is it? Do you still have that interest, or
I
I mean,
definitely do.
to the level, to the
Yeah,
level?
I definitely do because now it seems possible. Like it wasn't Too Equipped wasn't on the stage as our city when I was going to high school.
Hmm.
Pressure Bus Pipe did he make Love and Affection when I was in high school? I don't know if it was out yet or not, but it still wasn't like we
Right,
didn't have any like
right. I got you.
heroes to champion.
I got you.
You understand? For me in that
Hey,
industry,
no pun
yeah.
intended.
So for me in that industry, it didn't really have that. So it was to me, it didn't
Mhm.
seem like a thing. It was just like a hobby
Yes, yes,
at the time.
yes. Yeah. So, do you find, given what you just said, do you
Uh-huh.
find your world of music
Mhm.
and your artistry,
It's the same thing.
it's a blend? Do you
It's
find
the
that?
same thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, how does that, in your mind,
Yeah.
how do you see both worlds?
Colliding.
Yeah. How do they
Um,
complement each other?
because you use artistry to market product. You
Mhm.
use music to market product. So what I do as a musician, I use self and my lifestyle to market product. Because every brand, if I want to sell these coffee cups, I'm gonna give it to, let's say, Kim Kardashian and be like,
Mhm.
hey, when you drink
Hey.
coffee in the morning, make sure you hold this up
Right.
because she is popular.
Well, those of you that know me know an avid coffee drinker. I have my new coffee cup,
That's,
and I think it looks good on me.
looks great on you.
Cheers to that.
One of three, by the way. This is just a sample. So
I love it. I love it. Now, to our youngsters in our community,
uh-huh.
because we're here to talk about breaking those generational curses
Let's do it.
and start a whole new mindset,
Let's do it.
new culture, new ways of thinking in our community.
Let's do it.
In your line of business, you're an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is not easy,
Nah,
by no means.
nah.
Would you recommend everyone owning a business? If yes, why or why not?
No.
Tell us why not.
Um, everything is not for everyone. I wouldn't recommend
Mhm.
everyone to do anything.
And it could be just plain and simple
Yeah,
like that
like I don't
because
recommend
I
everyone
too
to do.
believe that we should not all be entrepreneurs
No,
because we cannot
everything is not for everyone.
be
After,
all,
after this, I'm gonna be there until like 2, 3 in the morning.
you see, because it calls for that.
Yeah,
And everyone doesn't have that spirit. But that is not to say that everyone cannot be wealthy. That is not to say because you're not an entrepreneur, you cannot make and save money and invest like the wealthy. So,
I speak on this all the time. I feel like 9 to 5 is people with 9 to 5s that make way more money than I do. Like that
listen,
laugh at what I make and get to go home every day at 5 o'clock and don't answer the
with
phone.
benefits,
Yeah, like
with
so
holidays.
it just what works for you.
Mhm.
It has nothing to do. Like I think people misconstrue this being an entrepreneur, being self-employed with automatic wealth. Like that's
Yeah,
not
and
a
it's not the
thing.
case.
It's not.
It's so you said
Yeah.
it. You said it best.
Yeah, it's not a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't exist
No, businesses fail all the time.
every single
Yeah.
day,
Yeah, businesses
and
fail
it's
all the
every
time.
day is a new challenge.
Yeah, facts.
And it takes a certain spirit really to push through.
I feel like you have to enjoy what you're
You
doing.
you do. It actually has to be it's a motivation.
Yeah, you
It's
have to like it.
yeah, you have to love the thrill.
Yeah,
You have
like
to
it.
love it. But as we speak, ending generational poverty and building generational wealth, know that I'm a firm believer, and this channel sits on my philosophies and principles. I'm a firm believer that every single person needs to know this mindset around money. They need to have the correct practices, strategies, knowing how to save money, knowing how to decompartmentalize their paycheck or every dollar to save some, invest some, the same way wealthy people do.
Facts. Live within
You
your
don't
means.
have, exactly, you do not have to have a large amount of money coming in. When you start to build, it's called compounding, and that will grow your wealth. Stick with Raquel Speaks, and we will dive into all of that. But that's just to solidify the point that we don't all have to be entrepreneurs
Nah, not at
to
all.
grow our money, okay, and to be investors.
Not at all.
All right. So, Felix, we have some youngsters in
Mhm.
our community, and we have business in high school. We teach business in high school,
As we should.
and as we should. Now, to the degree, and it's not to the degree in terms of entrepreneurship, because of so many constraints, whether it be time, whether it be lack of teachers, whether it be lack of resources. It could be, the list goes on and on. The point is, do you find that entrepreneurship is best learned in an incubator or in the real world?
I feel like it depends on the person again, because it's like I know some people that their father owns this business, and from the time they're born, they're on the job site with pops, and they learn the trade like their whole life, and father can pass it on to this one because out of the 5 kids, he's the one that always wants to come after school or wants to be there on weekends, or and like you trained this skill set and you take it to our next level. Like Lemuel Plummer, his father did television. Now he owns Zeus. But his father did like gospel, like on a small scale, and now Zeus is like $1 billion company. Like
Took it to the next level.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he was around all the time. Or you have other people that come from no type of background, but like myself, like I just enjoy music and I enjoy fashion.
Yeah.
So I just kind of self-taught myself because I enjoy it. I don't mind putting in time and hours. Like anything that you could do for a very long period of time and don't need to get paid from it is your passion.
You're passionate about it.
Yeah.
Yep. You'll do it
Yeah,
for
you
free.
would do it. Yeah.
Yeah. It brings out a certain energy,
Yeah.
spirit, upliftment, enlightenment, right?
does.
Fulfillment, really.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Fulfillment.
It does.
Yeah. So I think you just touched on a very important point, and we might have some viewers who may struggle with this. There are some who believe that family businesses, every family should have a business. Every family should have a business. Now, I do believe that every family should have a business, but I don't believe everyone should run the business, right? It has to be that person who has that entrepreneurial spirit, right?
Yeah.
And that business owner quality about them. Do you believe that children should continue the family business? Is that such a thing in your mind? Why not?
I don't think so. I think that's more like like when you say that, that's to me, I'm thinking about like royalty, like the British lineage, like like this house of whatever has to pass this on to the firstborn. And I don't think that. I feel like as for example, I'm 37, I have no kids. When I do have children, if they're not into fashion, then I can sell this and they can do whatever their heart and soul desires.
I love it.
They don't have to continue it, because I feel like if you're not into it, you're just gonna
Exactly.
you're gonna drop the ball.
Exactly. And I mean, we're here to have tough conversations. We talk all things money unapologetically, and we discuss topics that are usually tabooed. And if you are a family member and you are struggling with whether you want or need to carry on, or you're feeling the pressure of carrying on a family business, just know that you can only be the best you. You can only be what God has designed you,
I agree.
and who God has designed you to be. That is not something for you to struggle with. You just brought up a good point. Businesses can sell. Every day, businesses are sold. So it's about utilizing the family business if it needs to be sold, and that capital you use to now continue the family's tradition and legacy in business. It's just in a different industry that you can maximize and continue the family's wealth. So good point. I think that would free someone who feel pressured.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Do whatever feels right. Like I'm not like a rules type of person. Like there's literally no box to fit anybody in. So for every time you ask a question, I'll be like, it depends.
Yes.
Just,
now I have a
like
superintendent friend, and he wrote a book. It depends.
I agree.
And it's so true.
I agree.
It depends,
Yeah.
right? Everything is based on
Yeah, humans are
circumstances
very
and
unique.
situation.
Some people like the Bob Marley movie, some people don't.
Exactly. It depends.
It's just how if you know his story, you might not like the movie. If you never really heard of him and like Three Little Birds, you might think it's the best
Right.
movie ever.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it just
Exactly.
depends.
I like that perspective. So, what inspired this name?
Don't pay me no mind.
Yes.
So AJ Ventura, I wanted to make like a very like braggadocious hip hop record where I speak like very metaphorically and talk a lot of like cocky, big headed type stuff. And I wanted the hook to just be like, but don't study me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Mm-hmm.
don't take nothing that I'm saying.
Don't mind me.
serious, You know, and then it just came. Don't pay me no mind, because it was a hip hop beat and it was influenced with like some island instruments in it. So I wanted to say something that I feel like an island person would say that an American could like relate to. So it wasn't like something that's straight from our slang, but something that we would say that an American would say too. And I feel like Don't Pay Me No Mind was,
Yeah.
like something that could cross relate.
Okay. Well, I think we're.
Yeah, it's cross relate.
I think you've done.
Yeah. So I made the song, and then the artist slash entrepreneur me is like, okay, cool, let's make some merchandise to make the song bigger. And then I printed 300 shirts, and it was at St. Thomas Carnival 10 years ago. Literally, this year will be 10 years.
Oh, wow. Congrats to that.
Thank you. And printed 300 shirts, put it in a duffel bag, and I went to Carnival because I was living in Virginia at the time. And my plan was to go to St. Thomas, whatever I sell would be sold, and then I'll just come to St. Croix and just give the rest out to like all my partners. And I was there for like 4 days, and I sold 300 shirts in like the first 2. Yeah, I didn't even, it was done that
And
quick.
you know, when it's in alignment.
Yeah, wasn't a plan.
Yeah, and that's how it usually unfolds, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a plan. Like I just opened the bag, and people had never heard the song, like wanted because other people were getting it, and it
was just your time.
Yeah,
right.
Shout out to social media.
Shout out to
Posted
social media.
I was coming to St. Thomas. I was here,
So it works.
Yeah. Everybody DM me, and I haven't stopped DM me since.
That's good. That support is very important, especially in our community.
Facts, a blessing.
Yes. Supporting businesses. A lot of times, local businesses struggle from lack of support. For so many reasons.
I tell nobody no. Ever. Miss Sweetheart, Miss CHS, Miss.
Oh, that was an awesome episode, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That young lady, I loved her. She had personality.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a really good episode.
Tell nobody no. Everybody that come in here with any type of raffle booklet, any type of sponsor, anything, I literally tell nobody no.
Yes.
Because I feel like I'm only here because of the community. I'm only here because of the support from everybody.
And that's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I'm only here because of that.
Yes, support. So when it comes to business, now we already established that we all don't need to be in business.
Not at all.
But we all need to be poverty free.
Sure.
Okay. What are your thoughts on just poverty from a practical standpoint? We know that the definition is a certain amount of money, below that poverty line, a certain amount of income level.
Yeah.
But practically,
I have a different experience with like actual poverty. When I was in the military before I left, I volunteered to go to Africa, Djibouti, for 15 months so I could like save money. I would have known 15 months Djibouti is in the Horn of Africa, right next to Somalia. It's a third world country, and I got to experience like poverty.
Absolute
like
poverty.
Your roof is just galvanized, and your wall is another
absolute
piece
poverty.
of galvanized, and you have a sheet to cover the front. That's your house. Your floor is mud. You know what I mean? So I've actually experienced, and the cup always half full. Honestly, those are the happiest people I've ever met in my life.
I believe you.
By far.
I believe you.
The happiest people I've ever met.
I believe you.
In my life, and it literally changed my whole perspective on life in general.
Yeah.
I haven't complained since about anything ever.
And that's a word. That's a word. Now, many compare to that point. To that point, we have we live in America, one of the richest countries of the world. Yet we have so many people living on the streets, hungry, lacking education, many live in absolute poverty in their little world, their little section of the world, wherever it may be, and then relative poverty, which is poverty that I grew up in, and many people in the Virgin Islands grew up in. What are your thoughts on us living in such a wealthy country, yet people could be many millions of people could be living in poverty and millions of dollars still going out to other countries? That's a thing, right?
My thoughts is we some crooks. That's my thought on that. We some real deal crooks. Like we are real crooks. Like for real. Like it's right in front of our face. Like we are some crooks. Like I'm so sorry. If you want to be a politician when you grow up, you're a crook. Like, and that's your calling in life. Like that's the path that you chose. You're a crook.
Tell us why. Why is that your perspective?
I feel like, and I would fall under the same category because if you're my partner and I have all of this funding forever, I'm not really going to try and find the person that's really gonna get a job done. I'll be like, Raquel, you know how to do this? No, well, figure it out. The money going to you. Figure it out. And I feel like that's just the world that we live in because, as you say, like this feels very third world. I picked up on this DJ by the name of Walsh. He's from Jamaica, and he did like a dub in the rainforest with Tippy, and he asked me to pick him up a time. And I was taking him to his hotel in town, and we were hitting so much potholes trying to go to his hotel. And he was like, "My you just show this America." like he was like, "You show me America."
Right.
And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I'm 100% sure.
Yeah, like he was like, "How is this America? Like what's
Yeah.
happening in it?"
Not what I envisioned,
Yeah,
right?
so my thing is with that, I feel like our infrastructure is just like fractured. Like I feel like the school system, like kids striking because they want AC is crazy to me. Police officers not getting paid is crazy to me. Like why you think they would not do their job to the fullest because they make no money. Teachers not caring as much, they don't make any money. Like why are those people not like higher in the food chain? You understand? Why does the driver who drives around the governor get paid more than the person that's educating our future? You understand? Like so to me I feel like the whole system, the whole infrastructure for it is just fractured.
Maybe one day we'll do a dive deep.
A deep dive.
A deep dive.
Yeah.
Into all because you just said a mouthful, by the way.
Yeah.
And I have
documentaries and stuff.
Yeah. I do have some responses to that. To many, all of what you just said. Clearly, I served as a public servant as well. I've had experience working with our government and government funding, etc. Throughout my career, I taught. So I was actually my very first salary was $15,000 with a $700 bonus brought me to $16,000.
Okay,
right?
sweet.
My starting in education.
You can get some McDonald's.
I sure did. Got some fries, some nuggets.
Yeah, you get some nuggets.
Yeah, but so it's so much more to it, but it's not right nor wrong. It's really right. It's good. It's good conversation. So I would love to dive deep.
We flip it the other way. You're there because you want to be there.
Exactly.
You're there
right.
because you're passionate about it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
But it depends.
Yeah.
It depends.
Yeah.
It's so much to discuss.
Yeah.
But it's good perspective for us to ponder on, and then of course we could chew away at it in bits and pieces. But it's a fact. Our world is full of injustices.
Yes.
And it's really for us to figure out which piece of this pie means the most for us to address. And clearly, I figured that out for me, right? I just want to work with families and that one individual, are you the one, to end generational poverty and build generational wealth in your family. Because mommy and grandma, we know it's on their heart to do. They well intend.
Of course.
They just don't know how.
No, for sure.
And they're going to pass on. We're going to go to the funeral. We're going to fight. We're going to argue. And nothing gets done.
I agree.
Another generation, and nothing was done.
I
So
agree.
it's important for the leaders of each family to take the steps and put the systems in place, whatever that may be, so that the family's wealth, however large or small, can carry on from generation to generation. And I'm just talking wealth. There's so much more.
It's getting better though. Like I feel like with the information, gift and a curse. You know, like I didn't have social media when I was in high school, but I have an intern at work here that's investing in stocks and he's in 10th grade.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that blew my mind. Like, what do you mean you have a portfolio? Like,
Yeah. Like I didn't have a clue.
I didn't even know what stocks were in 10th grade.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's like it's getting better because we have more access to more knowledge if you want to find it, you can, versus it being gatekept at a certain point. So I feel like every year is getting better, you know, but
well, yeah, I think we have more students being exposed,
Yeah.
right? Basically, I don't find that many. I think we have a lot of the youngsters who have the will. They have the willpower. They have the vision. They know what they want. They know what they don't want. They don't know the how. And they don't have the insight, the knowledge, and the skills to and the patience, because they want instant gratification
right now.
right
So,
now
yeah.
to actually put into place a system to build, save for that later investment, for that vision that they have, because they want instant gratification and yet they don't have the money management skills, right? I didn't have it.
Yeah, neither did I, but I had patience.
Mhm.
I thought I figured it out like 2 or 3 times and had to start over and still haven't figured it out to where I want to figure it out. So
Mhm.
it's like still a building and a growing process because nobody taught me anything. So everything being self-taught, just know that you're going to fail.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like you didn't invent this. There's already a system in place. You have to figure your lane in the system. So you're going to fail at something. You're going to fall short somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're definitely going to drop the ball, thinking like, yes, this is a hit. It's kind of like rolling the dice, you know. Like I don't care who you are. Once you throw it on the table,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. And you listen.
You gotta go wherever.
You either sink or swim.
Yeah, for sure.
Sink or swim.
It's just if you want to pick the dice up and try them again.
Exactly. Exactly. And we recommend, of course, shooting again.
Of course.
That's right.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
don't stop.
No.
So any young men or women, you didn't have a role model, like you said, to look up to in terms of business?
Locally, per se.
Locally?
Entrepreneurs were not cool when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. No, it was good.
I don't want to
get a real job.
Be like the Arab at the gas station. Like I don't want to, like anybody that's have their own bit. Like there was no like cool business owners.
Yeah, and I think
like,
businessmen too and entrepreneurs are seen as slick.
True.
Either the media portrays them as greedy.
True.
True. Not humble servants.
True. Like just like most young African American males, I feel like I was more so watching the drug dealers. Like this looks like success to me.
Right.
He has a Lexus. Like I want a Lexus. What is he doing? Versus the business owner that's not even fully getting like dressed to work. So he has way more money, but you can look at him in that type of aspect because he still has his 82 Ford truck because it's already paid off and it works. So he's just saving,
the wealth building principles, the sacrifices.
Nah, you don't see it.
Right.
So
it's
you
not
don't want to
shiny.
Be him.
It's not shiny.
Nah. So you don't want to be him. So I didn't really have like local people that I wanted to be like growing up here. As far as like I wasn't even thinking about entrepreneurship. I was mostly looking at like music. But I didn't really have that inspiration to be like, oh, he did it, so I could do it.
Right.
Like
right. So So I firmly believe that entrepreneurship, being in business,
Mhm.
is the most effective way. It's not the only way.
Mhm.
Most effective way to acquire the level of funding, money
Of course.
that you want, right?
Yeah.
What has been your biggest challenge to date or downfall in business?
Understanding credit.
Interesting.
Mhm. Understand, like not having, not. I was like, as I say, like my influences. I'm thinking I need to buy this cash. I want to own this. I need to
Mm-hmm.
cash out on this. It needs to be mine.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm paying for anything, I'm paying cash.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I first opened this business, I used to travel to Miami with cash to go and pick up merchandise and go and buy, like,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to just own it. I thought credit was like for broke people.
This is I'm fascinated here because our last episode last week was on credit.
Mhm.
And that was the conversation. So
That's what
I
I
guess
thought.
I guess it's appropriate now. This is a question I would normally ask at the end of the show,
Uh-huh.
but I guess I'll go ahead and ask now. So are you um, of the mindset that cash is king or credit is king? And have they changed from time to time?
It
It
depends.
depends. Why did I know that was coming?
Credit is king, man. Like I saw this post for a long time, and it was like it had like a great argument in it. And I'm not into reading comments, but
Mhm.
this intrigued me. There was like, do you rather? I think it's like $250,000 credit line,
Mhm.
or do you rather $1 million cash?
Mm.
And I feel like that's a tough, because my thing is, I understand what they're trying to say
Mhm.
with the
Mhm.
credit line,
Mhm.
right? Because all it does is grow and grow and
Mhm.
grow. If you mess up this $1 million,
That's it.
then yeah. And even if you have the $1 million cash, you can't go and buy a house
Mhm.
tomorrow.
Mhm.
You can't go and get a car. If your credit score is
Mhm.
a 499.
Exactly.
You
Mhm.
can't be like, little, let me, like, you can't, even if
You
you
still
have,
need the credit.
yeah. So, but my thing is, you could take the $1 million and you can build your credit, and then you can get
Mhm.
the. So, like, it was a great discussion, and I'm in the point where I'm at now because I don't have access to $1 million cash.
Mhm.
I'm here for the credit
That's it.
because I've seen it go from 10 to 20 to 30 to 40. And then now is send a text message, hey, we got $40,000 for you. And then there's a voicemail from this 824 number, hey, we can give you 36,000.
Mhm.
And then there's a letter in the mail, hey, you
Mhm.
might be able to get 250,000 if you. So it's like,
Yep.
I mean, you have to be smart and choose wisely, but
Mhm.
when you have the cash, you like, it's just, you're
Yeah.
back against the wall. Like you really have to,
Yeah. It's like
yeah.
keeping your money under the mattress kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
That mentality.
and it's very hard to build and grow with that. As I say, you just can't. This house is 300,000. You can't just be like pull out a duffel
Yes.
bag and put it on the table and be like, "Here's 300.
Yep.
Give me the keys." Like you
Yep.
can't just do that.
Yep. Because as we know, it's the access.
Yeah, for sure.
And the credit gives you the access.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But I learned that owning this business.
Yeah.
I didn't know that prior to.
Mhm.
I really thought cash was king.
Yeah. So you see,
Yeah.
his belief has
Yeah.
evolved.
It has.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
perspective on it has evolved. So cash was king prior,
Yeah, you learn, you
and
grow.
then experience
Yeah,
teaches wisdom, and
course.
now credit is king.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with that, I will go ahead and ask you
Mhm.
another question that we ask with our money makers, movers, and shakers. Are you a spender? Are you a saver?
I'm a spender.
Are you a giver
I'm a giver. That's
or an
spending.
investor?
All four.
Okay, tell us.
All four. So I'm in a want business, not a need business. Music, entertainment is a want.
Mm-hmm.
Clothing is a want. So you don't have to buy one of my shirts. You don't have to listen to my music. What what puts me above everyone else to make you want to do that is my exposure. And in order to get
Mm-hmm.
me in front of more eyes, you have to do things that's not in the norm. And to do things not in the norm, you have to pay to play.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to be seen, I have to spend. I have to market. I
Mm-hmm.
have to advertise. I
Mm-hmm.
have to sell lifestyle. I have to put other people in the brand. I have to, I have to do all of these other things. So I have to
Okay,
spend.
let's take on that point.
Uh-huh.
So I get that from a business perspective. You have to, right?
sure.
Because we all need clothes.
You
It's a
don't-
necessity.
But you don't have
I don't have to buy a name brand or
True.
right.
You can buy a G-Man from the gas station.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
But what is your dominant habit?
Out of spending, saving,
Yeah. You're
giving,
not are you right. Your dominant.
so I have to pick one out of the four?
What's your dominant? And it could change. It could have changed.
We're going to go with giving.
Giving. Tell us why.
Because I believe in energy. And if you put out positive energy, you get it back in return.
Karma.
Yeah, so giving is by far, like,
That's your most dominant.
by far.
Right.
Yeah, because I am only here because of the people.
Got
I'm
it.
only here because of my relationships I have with people. Like you said, you spoke to Pressure and he spoke highly of me. I'm from St. Croix, he's from St. Thomas. We're in the same age. I ain't never meet a man going up like that.
Right. But energies connect.
Exactly. Like we grew a
Good vibes.
relationship as an adult. From doing music, we got a relationship. So, and from that,
Right.
we
This
like
relationship.
locked in. Like he in South Africa, he FaceTimed me this morning.
Yeah.
So I would say giving because I feel like I've benefited the most. Like if you're like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, like you have money, you can do whatever you want. But my relationships took me way farther than my money could ever take me.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We're speaking. So that is. I'll put it in the word of our good friends Kyle and Redman and Caribbean Currency. So that's the question that they asked on their program. And relationship is my currency in their terms because I firmly believe that what you just said.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, is this why? So why don't some people get it though? It's almost like
because I feel like it's like when I was in high school and I really couldn't see. I thought music was a hobby because I didn't see anybody around me benefiting from it. I feel like people don't see that they could benefit more off of the relationship than
I mean, it is so much wealthier.
Yeah, they don't see it. They don't experience it.
I guess that's it right there. Maybe they have to experience
you
it.
give to somebody that just screws you over, and now I ain't giving no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. Everybody is no.
Yeah, relationships are built off of trust,
for sure.
mutual respect, and trust. So,
Yeah.
This was actually very good. I really enjoy our conversation. I don't care what you said. You were in trouble because of the brain of yours. Don't mind him. Don't pay him no mind. He has a curious mind.
Yeah, it's rough.
And that's why we're filled and surrounded with creativity.
Yeah, it's rough.
No, but you know what? Keep it up. It's something I know I don't have to tell you that, but definitely for our listening audience and viewers, keep it up as motivation and inspiration for those that are coming after you. Because you didn't have the local role model, but they now do.
No, for sure.
Right.
Yeah,
in you.
sure.
And I'm sure many of them see themselves in you. Do you have, first, before you give some final words, where can our viewers find you?
Just Google DPM&M, and I will be found on every platform, everything. Just
Facebook,
everything,
Instagram,
everything.
YouTube,
Just
TikTok.
Put those 5 letters in, and I am there. DPM&M.
That's it.
Yeah.
Any final words for our viewers and words of inspiration?
Take risks. Definitely take risks, and take more risks. Everything that glitters is not gold. Beware of the smoke and mirrors. Take risks and take more risks.
See, I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah, I'm here for it, man. I'm here for the risk. Take legal risks. Let me say that. Take legal.
Good one. That's good.
Yeah. Take legal risks because it's definitely not worth it.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah, take legal risks.
Listen, thank you so much for welcoming Raquel Speaks to your store. I see you have some awesome merchandise here.
Yeah, we here.
Yes. Do you ship out?
Of course.
So,
DPMNM.com.
Okay, and then we get everything that we need.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you. This has been another episode of Raquel Speaks, and entrepreneurship, as you know, financial literacy and entrepreneurship are two important key components to your journey in ending generational poverty and building generational wealth. Continue to listen to Raquel Speaks. I'm going to continue to provide, bring along with me my network of money makers, movers, and shakers in hopes of educating you, edutaining you, and elevating you. Yeah, like
I like that.
hello. So that you too can live a prosperous life, but most importantly, that your future generations can live a prosperous life. So, with that, thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads, and spread awesomeness. Share this with family and friends, and remember to leave me a comment or two. I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.